Hey, how you guys doing out there? James Humphord with another episode of Associates Productions Movie Reviews. I got my co-host with me, Ali, and today we are doing Pacific Rim 1 and 2. Robots fighting monsters. Robots fighting monsters. What year?
2013 was the first one. And I want to say 2017 or
16, 17.
It was the second one.
Here's the thing. It was a very odd year when the second one came out. It's like nobody knew about it. Nobody knew that they were like. I guess they knew that they were making a second one, but I remember like seeing the trailers. Like I didn't even know they were even doing it. You know what I mean? Because usually when a sequel comes out, it's like 2-3 years later. But it was like, wow, it's been a minute since the second one came out.
Yeah.
And I hate it when they come out with a sequel and they try to play it like it came out right after the first one did.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It kind of like, because then I have to go back like 8
Watch
years.
the
first one, whatever. Let's try not to dive too much into the science of it, because we know the science is kind of fucked up. You know, it's weird in a way. We'll touch on it a little bit.
Okay, I kind of need, or I need to know more of like what you mean by that part.
Because I mean, let's get into the first one.
Okay.
First one. So, out of nowhere, the portal of evil monsters starts flooding, the world. You know what I mean? And it comes randomly, but then it turns out that it's not random. You know, whatever. And the humans, they build these big ass monsters or robots to fight the monsters. Makes sense, whatever. But then, in order for them to control the robots, they have to be synced in with another person to control the robot. You know? And then in order for you to be synced in, you have to have some sort of
drift compatibility, what they call it.
Drift compatibility with a certain person.
You can't just hop in with anybody. You have to hop in with somebody who's also compatible with you. Where like pretty much you have a good connection. We all can play off each other and work together to order to control the robot. Because when they both sync together, they're both moving in same synchronization. But if one person can't drift properly, then it throws the whole robot out of whack. And like the first movie, I just rewatched the movie. The first movie, one of the characters, she started having a flashback to what actually happened for her when she became an orphan. Was the monsters attacked her hometown, and she started panicking, and her reaction was her actually about to shoot the giant cannon like at everybody in the building and like shut it down. So you have to control your own emotions.
Well, see, here's the thing where I think like the science of that is kind of fucked up, because then it's like, how can either two people think about the same thing at the same time? It's almost impossible. You know what I mean?
Right.
Either way, if I'm thinking about moving the left leg and the right arm or whatever, and the other person's thinking about moving whatever, I don't care how synced they are together. That science is like completely, out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
And then here's another thing: is that obviously they talk about how the machines are so big, whatever that they have to have multiple people control the robot. All that stuff makes sense, but at the same time, it's like, how could they not build something that one person can control? Like, I would think that moving the monster is like driving a car. You would do all sorts of stuff to move the monster.
I guess for copyright reasons, it's probably best they did the two things versus the one. If you do one, then you're looking at, are you just making fun of Gundam, or are you doing like the Gundam Wing mobile suit?
I mean, I guess they're trying to add more drama to the story, whatever. But for me, I'm like, if you're gonna do that, then you might as well do it like the Power Rangers do. I hate to say it, how to make it like the Power Rangers, but at least the Power Rangers had 5 motherfuckers doing 5 different things in the robot, and they were all in the head. They wasn't synced together. Like, hey, motherfucker, I need you to do this. You would think it'd be like moving a submarine,
right?
How everybody's just running around doing something. You know what I mean? So, and then you get the science with the kaiju.
Okay.
Where the guy did the drift compatibility with the kaiju, and then the kaiju's like, okay, I'm gonna kill this particular dude, whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, it's the science of that, and I want to say I touched more on the second one with the storyline of the second one, but with the whole science of that, of the kaiju being mindful of the humans and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, what's the whole purpose of the monsters going into the earth to be? I think the reason was they were trying to inhabit the earth or something like that.
Destroy Earth, but they couldn't do it when they first arrived because of the atmosphere during the time of the dinosaurs. They couldn't exist in there, so they had to wait until Earth got like terraformed, and then like when humans they would make it habitable with like CO2, oxygen, all the stuff we've been doing to kind of destroy the Earth. There's like, oh, this is our time to come up because not as, I guess, potent what it was Charlie Day told Idris Elba and Ron Perlman that like it wasn't potent enough for the kaiju to exist. Now they can exist on Earth, so they want to tear down everything, take over Earth, and then go to another planet.
Which to me again doesn't make any fucking sense, because you would think at that time that the Earth would be at its purest from us humans dumping all our pollution and everything else in the air. You know what I mean? That would be like the perfect time to take over whatever,
right.
whatever. And that's pretty much what the kaiju is a bunch of weird looking dinosaurs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? However, scratch all of what I just said, Pacific Rim really is a good fucking movie. Because it's robots fighting monsters. It's something that actually is never, I don't want to say it's never been done before, but not at this degree.
Right.
First, we got the director, which is
Guillermo del Toro,
which obviously he makes fascinating movies, but obviously his movies are always kind of sort of weird with the old Shape of Water and all the other shit that he's done. But the concept of it is actually a really good concept. You got these monsters that are more or less taking over Earth, trying to take over Earth, killing a bunch of people. They actually show the destruction, which is good. A good movie with good destruction, and like gives you the realism of the movie. And to be honest with you, the monsters or the robots were like getting down. You know what I mean? The dude was carrying the boat. Hit the dude with the boat. They're carrying him up in the sky and all this other shit. Like the action, and as well as the special effects, especially for that time. Was it 2013?
Yeah.
Especially for that time, was really, really good.
Only thing I had with an issue with that, because the action is good, it just, you couldn't tell sometimes what was going on, because like the robot was gray, the Jaegers were gray, but the monster was also gray. It's like when they fight on the water and the monster's dragging the Jaeger through like a fissure, like you're like what's happening right now? Like I can only tell about the highlight of the monster. The only thing about the issue with Del Toro when it came to the movie, I wish you would have made some of the robots more colorful, so they stand out more versus so gray. Because, like you said, the movie is visually like it looks nice. Like it's like there's scenes in the movie like that's a screensaver, that's a screensaver, that's a screensaver. But when it came to certain things like the monsters grabbing the robot like flying into the sky, if it wasn't for the sun in the background and like we're going to orbit. Yeah. You couldn't tell where the monster grabbed the Jaeger at.
It was pretty dark. It was kind of hard to watch. And I see the difference between the first one and the second one, because the second one was actually very bright.
It was. It actually was bright.
And they did most of the fighting during the day. Thinking about that.
Which is funny. I was saying like Zack Snyder would have did like the editing of it, like the add like the color filter.
Have some of the slow some of the slow motion, because it was pretty bloody.
Yeah,
for the most part, they were cutting fucking monsters' heads off and everything else. But
the line dialogue in this movie though, Charlie Day. I'm sorry, like the panic. We gotta figure out what the monster's there. We gotta go, get it. Pick this up. Hey, what are you doing? We need to get this over here. I need to drift with this brain. Charlie, calm the F down, man. We don't need this panic character. And then you go from him to Idris Elba, who's like, you're not gonna be able to drift in there. Don't talk to my daughter. Jaeger, get up in there, get control of the machine. We need to do this. And then you go from him to like Charlie, which one point it literally took me out the movie, because I was like, you had this serious story between Riley and Mako learning, like they both crushed on each other, because she immediately when she learned she knows Japanese, and she says something to Idris Elba character in Japanese, and then what's name responds back, and she's like, oh, I guess we have a thing here. So then like they're like crush on each other, and then the whole will they want they storylines in this movie. Yeah. So you got that serious tone, like, hey, she almost killed us all. Hey, I just lost my son in this battle, to panic Charlie Day with Ron Perlman, who's like, I'm this underground Jaeger collector and I sell stuff and I want to get a Jaeger brain. Oh wait, the monster's pregnant. Oh, then they have this whole scene where he's like, look, I told you the monster's gonna die. You can't survive out here. And the monster eats Ron Perlman, and you're like, what is going on with this movie? Like, it was time when the movie was good, and there was time when the movie was bad.
Yeah, it did do a lot of jumping between the storylines a lot, because it had the storyline with Mako, it had a storyline with her dad, it had a storyline with Charlie, it had a storyline with Perlman, so it was all kind of revolving. And now that I'm thinking about it, it was like a lot to take in, because they did a lot of explaining.
They did. It was a lot of exposition in this movie.
A lot of like 2 to 3 minute explaining. Like they needed to explain, the first 3-4 minutes of the film. Like, hey, the Jaegers come out of nowhere, they fucking shit up, and that's it. They didn't have to go into the deep science of it.
They even got to a point where like why the Jaegers were getting decommissioned because one of the Jaegers got killed. No, the main character, Riley, his brother gets taken by a monster when they're fighting because they were drift compatible, but the monster was stronger than the Jaegers at the time.
Again, they were not thinking on the same, because one of them was trying to bounce and the other one was trying to get in the fight, right?
No, they was both. They both went out there because they wasn't put to go out there. I think something happened where the people was on a boat and they let's go rescue them. So they went out there on their own.
Yeah.
And then like a category 4 Jaeger, there's more stronger monsters showed up and people just kicked their butt. They end up surviving, but Riley was able to do drift compatible by himself, and there's like only one other person will do this, which I guess it was Idris Elba's character.
Yeah.
But that was like, oh, then the government's like, well, Jaegers can't destroy all the monsters, so we need to build a wall. So they decided to build a wall, and then a Jaeger bashed through a wall in Australia, and they're like, look, we need, or not the Jaeger, the monster, the kaiju bashed through the wall in Australia, just took it down, and they're like, well, I guess we can't defeat the Jaegers. And then Idris Elba comes back out of nowhere, just like, Riley, I know you've been on this wall for the past 3 years. I need you back in this. Like, well, how did you find him immediately? And he was like, I've been sitting here the whole time. He's like, I know you have, but now we need you to come out here and do this.
And then there's the ending, which it's kind of hilarious when we're thinking about the Titanic and the ships and all that shit's happening right now. It's like the depth, that they're in. How the hell can these monsters even survive, or even the
right? They gotta swim up. They come through the ocean to swim.
Yeah,
up
they're in
land.
like the deepest part of the ocean that they're fighting these monsters in, and apparently the monsters are like strategic or whatever. Like there's more than one monster. There's different classes, all this other shit. But I guess there's like a main monster on the other plane of like
it's like a hive mind.
I don't know, man.
The monsters all connected to like the main one that's in the
and he's the one that's sending all these different Jaegers out there, and I guess it's all like a strategic plan for the Jaegers.
The monster, the kaijus.
Yeah, like, kaijus so to take over.
Charlie Day, and I would say the movie is interesting because Charlie Day does he goes, so the first wave was like just to see what was on Earth now, see what was out there, and it started destroying itself. The second wave was come out and actually destroy, like kill humans, but then we made the Jaegers combative, so they're like, oh, so we need to get stronger. So then he's like, then you get a category 5, which is like the third wave, which is like obliteration to Earth. Like, and apparently they were like, all right, we need to take a bomb down there, but you couldn't get the bomb down there. Also like this idea, you couldn't get a bomb down there because you have to have kaiju's DNA to get through the portal, because everything they shot down there is bounce up the portals. There's like, you need to have a kaiju, so they take a dead kaiju to go in there. But how they set the bomb off, they use the Jaeger itself as a nuclear reactor and blow up the Jaeger inside the hive mind, and it destroys the core wherever the monster's at.
And here's the thing, they took life rafts back up to the surface from that depth. They're like, we're treading on the surface of the middle of the core, Earth, whatever, and they took these little boat paddle motherfuckers up to the top. I fucking lost it at that part. You know what I mean? It's like, how? No. Hell no.
He said no.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, it's, like you said, it's a good movie. It's entertaining.
It's most definitely entertaining.
I would say I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I would say this movie is not one where you be like, hey, what's the most important thing you took out of this movie? Monsters versus robots. Yeah, and that was it. That's all you going for. Don't try to go in there and look for.
That was the only thing that was interesting.
Yeah, don't go and look for an Oscar level movie because you're not gonna get an Oscar level.
No.
I would say the actors did give their 110%.
They had some good actors.
Yes.
They had Charlie Hannon, whatever. Yeah, which I actually do like his movies. His Sons of Anarchy and all that good stuff. Idris Elba.
Yep.
Obviously, I don't know who that Marco.
It's like Riniko Kikuchi, something like that.
She's but. Ron Perlman, you got Charlie Day, so big names for that time, whatever. It was still a good movie. Still relatively a pretty awesome movie.
If you just want an action flick to watch with friends and family, popcorn, don't think about anything, this is that movie. It's definitely that movie.
Honestly, I would say this would be a movie that you would play in theaters again and people would watch it.
I can see that.
You know, I would go to the movie theaters again just to watch it. You know what I mean? Just to have that movie theater experience again. You
Right.
know, most definitely one of those movies. Made a lot of money, which obviously gave it a sequel. But then they were having so many problems with the storyline on how to make a sequel to the movie. Is probably why was one of the delays of why it took so long to make.
Even Del Toro, I think, dropped out of the second one.
Yeah, he did. I don't think he directed it. Maybe even produced it. I don't know. Either way, we're going to Pacific Rim 2, which fell off really, really hard from the first one.
Yeah. What
It fell really hard.
the brightest spot of that movie is John Boyega. Like, you have John Boyega who doing his best
Yeah,
Kevin
well-
Hart impersonation.
Well, okay, let's talk about the actors. So you got John Boyega,
And then who else?
Scott Eastman,
I don't know.
or Eastwood, Scott Eastwood, which is Clint Eastwood's son.
Okay.
Which I think is a good actor. He has some good movies, some bad movies, but I think he's a good actor. I've been following his career pretty good. This was at the beginning of it, you know, where he's still trying to, you know, wrap himself around as an actor.
Okay, cool.
But other than that, obviously you have Charlie Day back in there,
Yes.
doing his thing. Has that weird little Asian doctor dude in there again, and that's it. I think that's all the other.
They brought like new people in.
Yeah.
But the storyline with that one, like John Boyega's character is the son of Idris Elba, who, by the way, was alive during the events of Mass Effect. During the events of
The
Pacific
first one?
Rim 1.
And no word at all of him being around.
Exactly. Like there's not
nothing.
even like another person in the background who's like, hey, you can't be. Apparently, what happened was John Boyega got kicked out of the military right before the events of Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
But like, there was no mention. Like, pretty much all you know is Idris Elba adopted Marco, and Mako was his daughter. That was it. Like, there was no mention of his son at all. Like, he was like, because Idris Elba was dying in the movie. He was like, and
He did the drift. He did the drift compatibility one time, or one. He was the only one doing the drift compatibility to control the Jaegers, whatever fucked up his mind in the first place.
And so he kind of, there's nothing like, hey, Mako, tell my son I love him. There's nothing from that movie that said tell my
It's
family
true,
or something like that would be like,
Yeah.
hey, Mako, tell our mother, tell your mom, tell our family that I did it. I love y'all. And like, there's nothing to even say like.
If anything, this is probably some last minute writing that they fucking did
Like-
for the movie. You know what I mean?
Like, how do we wrap John Boyega's character? Because the one thing with Pacific Rim 2, the characters are not thought out at all. Like, there's like a moment where Scott Eastwood and John Boyega had like a fight. Like, oh, we had a thing. We fighting each other.
Yeah.
Now we're like friends again.
Yeah.
But then like there's a girl who there's like hitting on, and she just disappeared. And this little girl with her own robot who like hops in. And like there's a different group of like. John Boyega get brought back
So I
to
think,
be.
I think it's like is it like 5 years after the first one or something like that? So the robots are like being
trained up again. Like there's like it's.
or at the beginning of the movie, they were stealing the robots, or the girl was like stealing
Yes,
the robots,
yes.
whatever. And then they had the bigger robots that were doing like the policing of like all the other rogue robots, whatever. They were more or less like the robots are like doing their own thing, I guess, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I guess there hasn't been a kaiju.
Attacking 5 years,
like
but
5 years or
they're
something like that.
preparing for one. So like the military has got like a whole group. So
Yeah,
John Boyega
yeah.
comes back to teach the new age to get ready for the kaiju.
Yeah,
But
which makes no sense because if he's the one that got kicked out of the military, how is he even like, you know?
but guess what? There's gonna be a kaiju attack because the guy who helped bring down the bad guys in the first movie has been drift compatible with a kaiju brain for the past 5 years, and now he's been
Yeah.
controlled by the kaiju's to
And it gets weird.
release a kaiju.
No, because he has like this whole relationship thing with the kaiju.
Yes.
You know, he's like living in the place and he's cooking the dinner and all this other shit and they're like living together. It got weird. It got really weird. You know.
It's Charlie Day's character who in the first movie he was like, I gotta drift because I believe we can find a way to stop it. Like he's like legit integral in reason why they destroy the kaiju's homeworld. But in this movie apparently he has a kaiju brain and he's just been like mind fucking. I don't know.
Like I said, it got weird.
They killed Mako off, by the way. And
Yeah, she was hanging out in the helicopter and then I guess here's the thing, was it like another rogue robot that they were fighting? I thought that was what happened, right? It was a rogue robot. It wasn't like another kaiju that killed it. It's like a rogue robot that was fighting the other. But I think it was like a kaiju in the robot or some shit like that.
I don't
It was
remember.
very confusing. Anyways, so she gets killed off. And then I guess this prompts John Boyega's character to, want to get revenge and all this other shit. And I guess there's some big. I guess the kaiju were trying to take over again or something.
It wasn't the kaiju yet. The lady, there was a new director lady who was making the robots themselves. And that's what it was. The director. So it was like them trying to show to her that no, humans need to be compatible with the use the robots. And she's like, no, this is my project. And then Charlie Day releases a monster because he's working with the bad guys. So he released the monster. So then they kind of find out that her robots can't destroy the kaiju. You actually need the human controlled robots to do that.
Mm-hmm. And here's the funny thing. It all gets shut down at the end. Like the whole program and everything gets shut down in the end. But then they recruited a bunch of rookies and wannabes to fight the robot, to get in the robots to fight the kaiju at the end, and they all get their asses whooped.
It's a movie. It's another movie.
Yeah.
It's you're gonna be entertained. Like we talk about it, like the movie has the highs of highs. You have very high spots. You're gonna have some very, very low spots. Like this movie, it goes up and down.
And I hate to relate it to a Power Rangers movie again, but that's what it was. At the end of the movie, it looked very like a Power Rangers like Megazord fight scene where they were just kind of pushing each other on buildings, on empty buildings and shit, tearing shit up. And that was it. It really wasn't a real climactic ending.
You do get more Jaegers in this movie. Like the first one, you got 4, and this one you hit and there's a cool scene I remember for the trailer where they like each one show off their different weapons. Like one has a sword, one has like a ball and chain, another one has like a lash or whiplash, and they're all like shoot, and the camera angles. Like it looks like it's another action movie. It's another. Yeah. It's like Expendables. Like you know what you're getting. You know what you're getting.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have it popcorn and eat it. And it's gonna be humans and robots destroying monsters and fighting other robots.
Yeah.
What's the plot? You don't need it. Like they were like somebody. I can see them.
The thing with the plot is they try to dive more into the science of all this shit, and I was already like fucked up from the first movie. So for them to try to explain more of the shit in the second movie, it's like, okay, I'm done. Like, I'm lost. What's the whole plan of the Jaegers again? Like, what are they doing? And then what are the kaiju doing? And then all this other shit is like, it's all kind of confusing, Mm-hmm. So, yeah, they lost me.
And they tried to do the whole thing with the story, like, Scott Eastwood and John Boyega would be like a team, but they got it butted heads and they didn't come together, but they did come together. Okay, the thing was over that girl that was there. Yeah. And then she just disappears. Like, who happened to the girl? Like, she's not even a big part of the movie anymore. Yeah. Like, it was, don't he actually teamed up with the young girl that he found?
Yeah, like I said, they recruited a bunch of wannabes and rookies to fight, these military Jaegers to, fight the monsters.
You would be trained for years and go through multiple combat simulations to pilot a Jaeger, but yet this movie is like, nah, we gotta have
just gonna get this smuggler, this little girl smuggler, and get her in the robot, and then she's gonna run around and save the day and shit. I don't even remember what happened at the end of the movie.
There was a volcano. I do remember that.
I remember they had the big fight scene in like New York or some shit like that.
Yep.
Charlie Day revealed himself as the villain, which was like a huge plot twist because nobody saw it coming. But
it was.
But it was like kind of trippy. You know what I mean?
When I reviewed this movie years ago, I said, I went back and rewatched my review. I said, it's all the superhero tropes you see in movies just done in this movie. Mm-hmm. The villain like, that's not the actual bad guy. That's the red herring. I'm the actual bad guy for no reason. Like, why are you doing this? Because I've been mind fucking a brain. But yet I am controlled by it.
Like he can control or like talk to the whatever's,
Cause I think it ended up being in Tokyo, not Tokyo. It ended up being in Japan, and there was a volcano that the monster came out of. Or they had to drop the monster into the volcano at the end of the movie. I definitely do not remember how this movie ended. I remember seeing the fight scene. I just don't.
It didn't get very good reviews like the first one did.
No.
Which obviously meant that it did get a third one. It did get like a cartoon show though.
They're working on a third one.
Are they? They need to fix that.
Yeah, you're right. They have a cartoon as well. But I remember there's an after credit scene in the second one. And then I Googled. I was like, Pacific Rim 3 came up. I was like, oh, they're doing this.
Are we gonna wait 5 more years, 10 more years to the third one comes out, or
I don't know.
Somewhere around there?
They going to be Michael B. Jordan this time.
Somebody.
I'm actually the brother of John Boyega that you didn't see in the other movie. Just let you know.
To cut it out from there, I mean, first one was good. Second one was lagging a little bit, but it's still entertaining. It's robots fighting monsters. I don't know how you cannot get satisfied with that. So, yeah. My co-host Hibberly Ali, James Humphrey, Associate Productions Member Reviews. We'll see you guys next week.
See you next time.